Yeah, this is all the
I was
times
mentioning.
that Pirate Software didn't talk about Blizzard. This is one of the reasons why I actually stopped watching Pirate Software. And apparently a lot of other people did too, because he used to have like 5 or 6 thousand people that would watch him on YouTube, and he's down to like 300 people now. He's like less than 500, so like 300-400 people now watch him. I'm not a big fan. Like I said before, I used to like listen to him. Like I thought he was kind of cool. I like that he was helping out indie developers, but I always felt it kind of odd how much he would humble brag. I was never a big fan of that, and I just had to stop watching him because I was like, dude, I'm not a fan of this.
I was mentioning watching a video that was critiquing you for mentioning you work at Blizzard so much. I literally never talk about it. When I worked at Blizzard, I did that for Blizzard.
You do.
Blizzard 7 years, yeah. Blizzard. I used to work
Every
at Blizzard.
stream he would talk about it like 3 or 4 times, and I just unfollowed and unsubbed because I was like, dude, I can't listen to this anymore. And it wasn't just about Blizzard; it was about so much stuff.
Blizzard Entertainment. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment. Used to work at Blizzard Entertainment. You're a red team specialist for Blizzard Entertainment and Blizzard. Because
Yep.
having worked at Blizzard,
And it's crazy having work at Blizzard. He was only a customer service person. He wasn't even like a developer. He worked in customer service. That was it.
Blizzard. I grew up at Blizzard. Blizzard. Game industry for Blizzard Entertainment. Blizzard. Yeah, no, I worked at Blizzard back when I used to work at Blizzard, when I was at Blizzard. For those who don't understand, like, I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment. I know how to do that because I worked at Blizzard. Example of this, when I was at Blizzard, how do you do so many things? I worked at Blizzard for 7 years. I don't think I'm better than other people. I do think that it's funny because you key on that. There's a lot of people that brought that up, and it's like, I never said that I was. I think sometimes the things that I talk about in regards to those types of things is misconstrued as arrogance or boasting. When in reality, I'm just trying to give context.
So
Rise.
that is the problem right there. So I want you to listen to this phrase.
Sure.
This gets misconstrued as arrogance, but in reality, it's this.
Yeah.
That is the most arrogant statement on the planet.
That's very arrogant.
I actually am the first second-generation Blizzard employee. I was the first second-generation Blizzard employee ever. The first second-generation Blizzard.
Oh my
first
God.
Second-generation Blizzard employee. So I'm second-generation Blizzard. I'm the first second-generation Blizzard employee that ever existed with the company. I'm also the second-generation
Oh man, you got hired as customer service. That's crazy.
Blizzard employee. I was a second-generation Blizzard employee. I was
Jesus,
the
brother.
first second-generation Blizzard employee ever. I was the first second-generation Blizzard employee. And I love that
It
shit.
really sucks because like the only thing that he's really got going for him is the ferrets. Like, and I noticed that the ferrets are also the streams for the ferrets are also losing viewers, and it really sucks. It really sucks. I really didn't want this to happen, but I could just kind of see the red flags the more and more I watched him, and I was like, dude, this is just not good. He would get so aggressive too whenever he would talk about the multiplayer industry. He's like, whenever people would be like, well, what about single player stuff in multiplayer? And he'd be like, fuck that. Fuck those single player dumbasses and da 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 da. And I was like, dude, calm down. He would be so like quick to snap at that and be aggressive, just like how he was with Ross whenever the Stop Killing Games initiative happened.
I love that company. Working for Blizzard sucked, and I work at Blizzard. Or I worked at Blizzard. There's me eating a sandwich. Yeah, that was actually at Blizzard. I think it was my first, I think it was 2009. It was me picking a safe. It was me cracking a safe in, at Blizzard.
Yeah, Blizzard.
Your Blizzard stories are fake? Which Blizzard story do you think is fake? Would you like to talk to me or my dad?
I don't think they're fake. I think there's probably a chance that some of them are. I don't think they're all fake, though.
For 23 years that's currently in chat. Which one do you want?